Okay, so today is day 2 of quadratics. So as you can tell, we're going to be going over quadratics. We'll start with the homework review.
Okay. So, oh, was someone saying something?
No, is there a link for this or?
I think you should be able to access the Desmos.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I'll just go over each. We can just go over each of these. So this first slide was basically it wanted you to sort of like identify the different ways you can write a quadratic equation. So these are the 3 ways you can write a quadratic equation: for vertex form, intercept form, and standard form. So standard form, I don't know if we specifically called it standard form, but this is the way where it's y equals ax plus b, ax squared plus bx plus c. So that would be in sort of like this form, because this is y equals x squared plus 3x plus 5. So this is standard form. This is the way you usually write it. And vertex form is in the form y. Oh, wait a second. Okay, y equals a times x minus h plus k, where the coordinate h, comma k, that's the vertex basically. So that's why it's called vertex form, because this lets you see the vertex of the quadratic. And by the way, just as a reminder, the vertex is basically like the pointy thing on the parabola. So if this is a parabola, the vertex would be this maximum point right here. And if this was a parabola, then the vertex would be this pointy thing down here. So vertex form basically makes it really easy for you to find what the vertex is. So this equation here, y equals x minus 1 squared plus 5, this would be in vertex form. And also with vertex form, it's very easy to find the vertex. So this would also kind of go under vertex form, because it's one way that you can find the vertex. And finally, intercept form, like the name suggests, it lets you find basically the x-intercepts of the parabola. So basically, it lets you find where the parabola crosses the x-axis. So for example, if this were a parabola, these would be the intercepts. And intercept form is y equals a times, and then x minus the first intercept, which I'm just going to call R1 for now, times x minus R2, which would be the second intercept. So intercept form would be like a product of 2 expressions. So this would be an example of intercept form. And specifically here, you can see that the intercepts would be 5 and negative 5. So this would also go here. And finally, the form that actually lets you find the y-intercept, remember that the y-intercept is when x equals 0, right? When x equals 0, then that's when the graph crosses the y-axis. So when x is 0, the form that would let you most easily solve for that is actually standard form, because notice that if x is 0, then these first 2 terms, they just pretty much disappear. So it's really easy to see that this would be the y-intercept.
Why does x have to be 0?
The y-intercept is when like the graph crosses the y-axis, right? So this would be the y-intercept. So the y-intercept happens when x equals 0. So when here x is 0. So when you're solving for the y-intercept, you just set x equals 0 and then plug it into the equation. And that, now the thing though is that standard form the way it's written, it makes it really easy to solve for the y-intercept, because when x is 0, then this first term is 0, the second term is 0, and all you're left with is this last term here. So it's really easy to see what the y-intercept is, and that's why standard form is usually the best for solving for that.
But I still don't understand why x has to be 0. Like, could it not work with other scenarios? Or
Well, the y-intercept, right? It's when a graph crosses like the y-axis, so this point, right? The y-axis
got it.
happens when
Okay.
x is 0. So yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Any other questions about these three forms? Okay.
Okay, so second problem. Caroline and Andy are trying to determine which graph represents y is equal to x minus 1 times x minus 5. Caroline thinks the purple graph is correct. Andy thinks the green graph is correct. Who do you agree? So the first thing we should do is we should see what we can find from the equation. So we're given it like in the factored format. So that means we have the x-intercepts given to us, right? But if you remember, x-intercepts are where y is equal to 0. So we would have to set y is equal to 0, and we'd get 0 is equal to x minus 1 times x minus 5. So in order to have a product multiplied to 0, we'd have to have x minus 1 equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0. So that means that y will equal 0 when x is either 1 or x is equal to 5. So that means that the x-intercepts are equal to 0, or are equal to 1, 0 and 5, 0. So we can see that the purple graph goes through both of these points. So that means the purple graph is correct. So you should have agreed with Carolyn because the equation matches and the x-intercepts match. So yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Question 3. Okay.
I don't think we talked about this in class, but concavity is basically which way the graph is opening. So like if the graph is like this, where it's like sort of opening upwards and it's like a smiley face, that's called your concave up. But if the graph is sort of like upside down and it's like a smiley face, or not a smiley face, shoot, a frowny face, that's called concave down. Basically, it's a technical way of saying if a graph looks like this or looks like this. So
essentially,
yeah.
It's just the direction it curves in. So
yeah. So we want a graph that is concave down, meaning that it's going to be a frowny face, and it's going to have an axis of symmetry of x equals 4. So just a reminder, the axis of symmetry is, convex. Convex describes a polygon. A convex polygon is like a polygon where all of its angles are less than 180 degrees. I don't know about convex graphs.
Convex is just essentially the opposite of concave. So if it's like, so you don't use it to describe graphs. However, like very technically you could, but like you don't. So if you were to say it's convex down, then that's the direction that it curves away from. So concave down, on the other hand, means it curves towards downwards. So concave is like inwards, convex is outwards.
Yeah, but that's only in the context of like shapes, because then you have like angles and stuff. But in terms of like describing graphs, we just use concave up and concave down. I mean,
all parabolas are concave, but it's dependent on the direction. So like not all parabolas are concave up, because not all parabolas curve so that their like curve is facing upwards. However, and the same thing applies for concave down. Not all parabolas are curved so that they're facing downwards.
If you swapped X and Y, then yeah, I guess
You
you could say
could.
that.
But no one does that. Like, no one swaps the X and the Y and says concave this way or that way,
Concave the left. Yeah, no one's gonna ask you to. Oh wait, you had to.
Oh, imagine.
Oh wow.
I mean, most people don't say it's concave left or concave right. However, like, if you wanted to describe something, then like you could.
I mean, yeah, you
describe
could,
it that
but
way.
typically we don't. Anyway, so we want a graph that is concave down, meaning it's a frowny face, and it has an axis of symmetry at x equals 4. So the axis of symmetry is literally just like the line where like the graph is symmetrical around. So basically, if you reflected it across this line, it should look the same. So if you basically, so we want it at x equals 4. So let's just draw a line at x equals 4. And in order for the axis of symmetry to be at x equals 4, this also means that the vertex x-axis, the x coordinate of the vertex has to be 4, because the vertex sort of happens at the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry passes through the vertex. So if you remember vertex form, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. At this point, we don't care about the k value because that's like the y coordinate, right? But it doesn't matter where this graph is, just as long as the x coordinate of the vertex is 4. So basically the h is 4. So right now we are looking for an equation in the form y equals a times x minus 4 squared plus k. And now we got to look at this a value. So remember that in our last class, we said that when this a value is positive, the graph will look like this. But when it's negative, then the graph will look like this. And since we want a graph that's concave down, that means that this a value has to be negative. And that's all the criteria we need. We actually don't need to worry about this k value because it won't change anything. It will just shift the graph up or down. But all of those graphs would like satisfy this criteria. So we need all the equations that have an h value of 4 and a negative 8. So this one matches and this one matches. These two actually have an h value of negative 4, because if you subtract the negative, then it will become positive. So these two would not be correct. And this one actually has a positive a value because the coefficient here, it's not written, but the coefficient is 1, which is positive. So yeah, it would just be the second and third choices. That would be correct. Okay, any questions about this?
Okay, so question 4. Consider the intercepts, concavity, and vertex of each equation. Then match the equation to the graph that has similar features. So
organizing.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, we can just look at everything one at a time. So
yeah. So okay, I'll take the equation one at a time. So for this one, y is equal to x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 5. So we can tell, because this is factored, we can tell that the x-intercepts are going to be x is equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 5. So that means that it would, and we also know that the a value is going to be positive because 1 times 1 is 1 and 1 is positive. So that means that it's facing upwards and it has one x-intercept in the first or on the right of the y-axis and one on the left, right? So that would mean that we would get something that looks a bit like what it does on the right. So that means that we can attach y is equal to x minus 1 times x plus 5 to that, right? Okay, Then next equation, y is equal to x minus 3 squared plus 2. Yeah. Okay, so we are given this in the vertex format. So we can see that the vertex would be whatever makes x minus 3 equals 0, so 3, comma, and then 2, right? So we have to see what has a vertex of 3, comma 2, and it should also be like concave up because the a value is positive. So 3, comma 2 would look something like the second one. So we would connect that to the second thing. Okay, then third equation, y is equal to x squared minus 10x plus 25. So you're going to have to factor this if you
We have not gone over factoring yet, so I think we should just skip that.
Yeah, okay,
So
well,
yeah, we have not learned factoring yet, so that one is fine.
Yeah.
That can be thrown out. I don't know where to throw it. It's gonna go in the corner here. Timeout.
Yeah. Okay. Then y is equal to x minus 2 squared minus 5. So you can see that this is in the vertex format. So it would have a vertex of 2, comma, negative 5. So you can see, and you can also see that the a value is positive, so it should be pointing upwards. So that would mean that we would have something that's a bit more like the fifth one. You might look at the third one and say that looks similar. It does, but like the y value is like objective, like it's like if you find the absolute value of the y value, that's greater. So it should be a greater distance from the x-axis than from the y-axis. Okay, then y is equal to x minus 2 squared minus 1. So this again is in the vertex format. So we can see 2, comma, negative 1 is the vertex. So this is closer to the x-axis, which is a horizontal axis, than the y-axis. So it would fit with the third, right? Because it's concave up and it has the vertex of 2, comma, negative 1. Then this one, it's y is equal to x plus 1 times x minus 5. This would have an x-intercept of negative 1 and 5. So that would mean that it would have, okay, negative 1 and 5, and it's also concave up. So that would mean that it would have, that it would look something like the fifth one, right? So we would put that there. Yeah. Okay. And then next one, y is equal to x minus 2 times x minus 6. Okay, so that has two intercepts, x-intercepts of 2 is equal to x and 6 is equal to x, right? So we would have both of them on the right of the y-axis, so on the right of the vertical axis. And it's also concave up because it has a coefficient that's positive, because 1 is positive. So we would put it in the third one, and then y equals.
This goes in the timeout corner.
Yeah, okay. Then y is equal to x plus 2 squared minus 5. So that would have a vertex of negative 2, comma, negative 5. And it would also be pointing upwards. So negative 2, comma, negative 5 would be something that looks a bit like the sixth one, because it would be in the third quadrant, right? When it's pointing upwards. Then this one is also
back to the timeout corner.
Yeah. Okay. Then this one, y is equal to x minus 3 squared. So this is in the vertex format, but it's also technically in the factored like format, right? So that would mean, so plus 0 is there, right? So that would mean the y value is 0, because if you think about it, it's just plus 0. So we would have 3, comma, 0 as the vertex, right? So we could also see that that's also the only intercept, the only x-intercept. So we'd connect it with the first graph. And then y is equal to negative x plus 3 squared minus 2. This is in vertex format. And we can see the vertex is negative 3, comma, negative 2. But more importantly, it's concave down because its coefficient is negative. So that would mean that we would connect it with the fourth graph, or the fourth, thing, because,
And we're done.
Yeah.
I know some of you guys were a little bit confused, but hopefully hopefully you can better understand this now.
Okay, did anyone have any questions about like intercepts, concavity, or vertexes or vertices? If not, we can move on to the content.
Okay, so on our kind of adventure journey thing on quadratics, we're now going to take a look at like factoring. So honestly, I think factoring is kind of the weirdest thing about quadratics because it does involve a bit of intuition. So just as a reminder of what factors are, basically we want, when we want factors in like a quadratic equation, we want something in the form of y equals a times x minus b times x minus c. So basically we want everything to be multiplied. We don't want anything to be added or subtracted except like in these parentheses. So for example, y equals x minus 2 times x minus 3 would be in factored form. And these things, x minus 2 and x minus 3, those would be the factors. And why do we want factors? Why do we care about factors? Well, it makes it really easy to solve for the x-intercepts because from factored form, we can pretty easily see that equals 0. But if we set this equal to 0, it makes it easy to solve for the x-intercepts. And that has a lot of different applications, which we're going to look at later. But first, let's just learn how to factor. So yeah. Okay, so as an example, how would we factor x squared minus 6x plus 5? Basically, in other words, how would we write this in the form of x minus a times x minus b? Or you can also use other variables for that. So we know it has to be in this form where m and n are basically its roots. So what we can do is like we can just expand this. So this, once again, x minus m times x minus n. So if we expand this, this would be x squared minus nx minus mx plus mn. And the important thing is that now here's the thing to note, that this x squared basically will correspond to this x squared, right? And for this part here, we can combine them to form x squared minus, and then in parentheses, n plus m times x. And then this part here is just mn. Does everyone understand how we got this expression here? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's good. So now this, I'm going to use a different color because, okay, so this expression, this term here has to correspond with like this term, right? Because both of those are times x. And then this term here has to correspond with this term here because it's just a constant. There's no x's, right? So once again, we basically, why is this important is because we're looking for the value of the variables n plus m and n, because that will give us this factored form right here. So, and the reason why this is helpful is because this gives us 2 clues on what m and n are. So for one, this part will correspond to this part. So we know that m plus n must equal 6. And mn multiplied together should equal 5. So, oh, does someone want me to go back or? Oh, I see a lot of you guys seem to already have found it. Well, once you have these, well, I'm walking you guys through step by step, but basically once you know that m plus n must equal 6 and m times n must equal 5, then you can try a couple of things, or you could just use some intuition. You might try, oh, if m is 1, then according to this one, n must equal 5. And that actually satisfies the second equation as well. So then that tells you that m equals 1 and n equals 5. But once you substitute it back into the first equation, that gives you x minus 1 times x minus 5 as your factored form. So the roots would be 1 and 5, but the factored form would be x minus 1 times x minus 5.
Okay, so essentially the roots are 1 and 5. However, if these are the roots, then we subtract them from x, so we get x minus 1 and x minus 5. And yeah, that's why that's why some of you might have been confused. So
wait, hold on. There's a question. So let me see. I'm having a hard
Sorry,
time.
my computer just
Uh-oh.
I think you're having some technical issues.
Okay. Okay. So essentially, you're just looking for the two values that, when multiplied, give you the constant, and when added, give you the negative of this middle term. We can work through some more. I think that will help.
Right, I'm pretty sure we have some examples. Yeah.
Okay. In fact, let's skip that for now. Okay.
Okay, so the first example is x squared minus 3x minus 4. So try and factor this on your own. Remember, it should be factored to x minus 1 root times x minus the other root. So x minus m times x minus n. And remember, if the roots are negative, then subtracting them would result in addition. So you could get x plus blah blah, or y plus blah blah blah. And make sure you have it in x plus a times x plus b format, not the roots. Okay, so I am seeing a lot of answers. Some of you did not put it in the format that you should have, but it's fine for now, right? Okay, yeah, so put it in the x plus a times x plus b format. So we can see that x, so if we have x plus a times x plus b, right? Wait, x. Okay, well, I'm just gonna say it in the x minus m and x plus or x minus n format, right? Because those would be the roots, right? So if we have it in this format, then we would have x squared, and then we'd have negative m minus n is equal to negative 3. So m plus n is 3. So this, and then m times n is equal to negative 4, right? So what multiplies to negative 4 and adds to 3? Well, negative 1 and 4 multiply to get negative 4, but they add up to 3. So that means we do x minus negative 1, so x plus 1, right? Multiplied by x minus 4. So we get x plus 1 times x minus 4 as our answer. And that is what the factored value is. So I think a lot of you got that correct.
Yeah.
So good job. And if you
Also-
have any questions, ask.
Also, one thing to note, it's you have to be careful about your negative signs, because sometimes you if you're using the form x minus m times x minus n, when you find m and n, you have to remember to subtract it, because otherwise your negatives will be flipped. So I know some of you guys were using like x plus m or x plus n. That's fine as well. Just like be careful with your negative signs. Okay, so wait, let me set up a thing to draw on. Okay, so this one here, x squared plus 8x plus 15. Try to factor that. Okay, it looks like a lot of you have answers now. And so I'll walk you guys through. So once again, we want it in the form x minus m times x minus n equals the expression we have. So we are looking for the values m and n that multiply to 15 and add
In the car.
to 8. So what values multiply to 15 and add to 8? Right now we're working with relatively small values, like 15 is not too big of a value, but I'm just going to like list out the factors of 15 because why not? So 1 and 15 are factors, and 3 and 5 are factors of 15. And that's pretty much it. And we can see that 1 and 15 definitely don't add to 8. So 3 and 5 have to be the factors we use, which means that m equals 3 and n equals 5, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. So that gives us the factored form of x minus 3 times x minus 5 and, or sorry, they should be add to negative 8. Whoops, sorry. They should add to negative 8, but that doesn't, okay. They need to add to negative 8. And honestly, something that I like to do when I'm like adding to a negative number is that I would just for now pretend like they're actually adding to 8, right? I pretend like they're right now adding to 8, and I find the two values that actually add to 8. But then I would add a negative sign here. So all I need to do is just add a negative sign here. So it ends up becoming x minus negative 3. And remember, when you minus a negative, it just turns into adding, times x minus negative 5, which is x plus 5. And that's our factored form. So I think a lot of you guys got it correct. So yeah, good job. Why not positive? Wait, what thing positive?
The roots wouldn't be positive because then this wouldn't multiply to like, because if the roots were positive, then you'd have something like x minus 3 times x minus 5, and then the value of the coefficient b, so the coefficient that multiplies with x, or the coefficient of x, would not be 8, it would be negative 8. So yeah, so
Yeah,
we're using
probably
x,
the form x plus m would be better.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, because
I can work it out with x plus m as well. Wait, hold on. Backspace, Ishani, don't delete it yet.
Ooh, sorry.
Okay. I'll just show it with x plus m because I think that might be tripping some people up. So, okay. Normally, okay, up to this point, we've been writing intercept form with x minus n and x minus n. But yeah, it would be better when you're factoring, just use x plus m, because so instead of doing this for factoring, you can also use x plus m times x plus n. But it doesn't really matter which form you use though, because addition is just double negative, right? So it really doesn't matter which form you use, but I'll work it out with this form just to show you guys. So this is basically the exact same thing, except that like the product would still be this. So m times n would still be 15. But this time when you expand it, you get m plus n equals 8, which yeah, it's easier to deal with. So when m plus n equals 8, we can find that m equals 3, n equals 5. That satisfies this because their product is 15 and their sum is 8. So our answer would be x plus 3 times x plus 5. So yeah, it would be easier this way. This is also a valid way to do it. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is a good one.
Second question, or third question, I can count. 3x squared minus 12x plus 12. So you'll see here that this has a coefficient that is not 1, right? So see if you can factor out that coefficient first, right? You know, and then yeah. Okay. How many people then?
Do you guys still want more time?
Okay, yeah, I think we should give them more time. I saw 2 answers, or 3 answers. So
Quick question once you guys are done. Okay, does anyone still want more time? Okay, then. Wait, Ishani, are you talking?
Yeah, I am. Okay. So in order to do this, right, for most of the time when you have or not most of the time, but a lot of the times when you have a coefficient for the x squared that is greater than 1, what you can do, like the easiest path if you want to factor it without using the quadratic formula, is to factor it outside of the entire thing. So you would want to do something like 3 times, and then if we divide everything here by 3, right, we get x squared minus 4x plus 4, right? If we divide everything by 3. So we get this. And then we will have to factor this, right? So we will get 3 multiplied by, and then we know that this, if this is in the form x minus m times x plus n, x minus n, right? X minus n, right? Then we would have m plus n equal to 4. And then we would have m times n equal 4, right? This is a small number, right? And I think, so the value that you will get for m and n are both 2, because the values that add to 4 that also multiply to 4 are 2. So we would get x minus 2 times x minus 2, and we would have 3 times x minus 2 squared as our answer. Does anyone have any questions?
Do you want to go to like the application problems next? Like do like maybe 1 or 2?
Sure. Wait,
Okay.
how much more time do we have?
40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do one more of these problems and then.
Okay, let's see, which one should we do? Okay, let's do this one, I guess. Okay, so factor x squared minus 16x minus 36. And yeah. Okay. Okay, in fact, for this one, I'll do it with plus m and plus n, just to show that way. Okay, so once again, we're looking for values of m and n. And this time I'm using plus m and plus n because, in my opinion, that is actually the best way. I don't know why I did with minus n. So in this way, we are looking for a product that m times n equals negative 36, and the sum m plus n equals negative 60. So if you haven't done a lot of factoring yet, I think what I would do for this question is I would list out all the factor pairs of 36, positive 36. So 1 and 36 are a factor pair. 2 and 18 are a factor pair. 3 and 12 are a factor pair. 4 and 9 are a factor pair. And 6 and 6 are a factor pair. So the reason why I'm doing this is because m and n are like, if we're assuming they're whole numbers, then they have to be factors of 36. And they have to be, m and n have to be factor pairs. So now we want a factor pair. Now, no, one more thing. So we want two things that multiply to negative 36, not positive 36, which means that one of the numbers, like, for example, if there were 1 and 36, one of these would have to be negative. It would have to be like -1 and 36 or 1 and negative 36. It can't both be positive or both be negative. But the other thing is that this equation tells us that when we add these two factors together, they should equal a negative number. And that actually tells us that the bigger number in this factor pair is negative, because if it were a smaller positive number added to a big negative number, then the answer would be negative, which is pretty much what we want here. So we can just add a negative sign to all of these. And now we can just check these one by one, which you guys can probably do really quickly. So if we, okay, 1 and negative 36, obviously they multiply to negative 36. They add to negative 35, so this isn't it. 2 and negative 18, obviously they multiply to negative 36, and they add to negative 16. So this is a factor pair. We really don't need to check anymore. So these are the values of m and n, and this would be the factored form of the equation, which I think pretty much all you guys got. Okay. Application problem now, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right, so this is a Jamboard. And I'll let you guys access it. Okay. And I mean, I guess you guys can just work on it. We'll do them together, but if you guys want to work ahead, I think you can. So, okay, Ishani, do you want to work on the first one together?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying them visual for you guys. quick question. For anyone who has Miss Richardson this year, are you guys learning about quadratics right now?
What are you learning?
No, we're learning about like exponents or something. Exponential
Oh.
growth.
Exponential properties.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Funny enough, that was what I was learning in 9th grade.
What?
Yes, that was what we were learning in algebra 2.
How? Exponent.
I don't know. That's what I was asking the whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
At least
I
you
had an
had
interesting
for
teacher.
algebra 2. I had a textbook, and that was
Oh
it.
yeah.
I had to sit in the back of the classroom and do the work.
Yeah, I heard that she's like taking a break. Like Miss Richardson's
Wait,
taking a break.
What happened?
To be
What
on
happened?
medical leave because she has some, I don't know, like she has some brain diseases or something like that. I'm not 100% sure.
She had surgery, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Did
don't know,
you
she has some issues with her brain. I don't know.
I thought it was like, okay.
No, like she actually has issues with her brain.
I didn't think it was with her brain.
Yeah, I thought it was to be like a broken leg or something.
It wasn't
you
like
know?
a broken leg. I don't know.
She had
My
brain
brother told
surgery.
me something. I don't remember what it was. Okay.
She had brain surgery, definitely.
Okay.
Well,
I think we can go over this question.
right. Okay. Okay, okay, I did Alt Tab, and right now my computer is frozen between.
I lost all 200 of my tabs because I opened too many windows.
Oh, okay.
So I have to restart now.
Okay, it loaded.
Yeah.
Okay. The side of a square has the length x minus 2, while a rectangle has a length of x minus 3 and a width of x plus 4. And the area of the rectangle is twice the area of the square. What is the sum of the possible values of x? So remember, okay, so I'm going to draw on the Jamboard. Okay, so x minus 2 squared is going to be the area of the square. So you do 2 times that is equal to, and then the rectangle has a length of x minus 3 and a width of x plus 4. So the area of that is x minus 3 times x, okay, times x plus 4. Sorry to Charles is sticking out on this. Okay, okay, so we can distribute, and we get 2x squared minus, and then because 2 times x squared is 2x squared minus, and then we'll have 4x, negative 4x times 2, which is 8x. And then we have 4 times 2, so plus 8 is, you can tell my handwriting is beautiful. Okay, is equal to x squared, and then we have plus x, and then minus 12, right? So we want to find the sum of all possible values of x. So let's get this into a quadratic equation, find the roots, and then solve, right? Or find the roots and then add them together, right? So we subtract x squared from both sides, and we would get, so it would just be x squared on the left side, and then the x squared wouldn't exist on the right side. And then, okay, and then we would subtract x from both sides, so we'd get negative 9x here, plus, and then we would add 12 to both sides, so we would get 20, right? And that would be x squared minus 9x plus 20. Okay, x squared minus 9x. My computer is being really slow, so I just saw your writing x squared minus 9x plus 20. But yeah, okay, x squared minus 9x plus 20. So we can see, so I like to do it in x minus m times x minus n format because it just helps me see the factors easier, right? Or the roots easier. So, you know, I'm going to do this in that format. So we can see that negative m minus n is equal to negative 9. So m plus n is equal to 9. And then we can see m times n is equal to 20. Okay, this is beautiful. Okay, m times n is equal to 20. So we can, so the factors of 20, okay, so I would go about this by looking at what sums to 9. So 1 and 8 sum to 9, right?
Wait.
And remember,
You don't even need to find it
right,
because the roots are m and n,
oh
right?
yeah,
And since
okay,
we're
yeah.
just looking for the sum of the possible values of x, m and n are the possible values of x. And right here, it just told us m plus n equals 9.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
the reality is you don't always actually need to solve for x, because if you're solving for like the product or the sum, you actually use that to find the values of x. So you only, once you get to this step, you're done, pretty much.
Yeah. right, unless you decided to do like 2 extra steps like me, you know, because you understand the problem totally 100%. Right, okay, yeah, but the answer is 9. So good job, Charles, and anyone else who got 9. Yeah, so you can move on to number 2.
So this one is pretty straightforward, actually. If we can use m plus n, because I guess that's better. So if we're looking for x plus m times x plus n equals this expression up here, ignoring that part, then we would want m times n equals -54 and m plus n equals 15. So for that, we would, I guess you could list out the factors of 54. I'm just going to list out like the first like 3. So 1 and 54, 2, 27, and 3 and 18. So from there, you notice that since they multiply to -54, one of these factors has to be negative. We don't know which one. But since they add to a positive number, that means we know that the negative one has to be the smaller one has to be the negative factor. So quickly, you can probably see that -3 and 18, they multiply to 54 and they sum to 15. So that would mean that substituting in, the equation would become x plus 18 and x plus -3, which is x minus 3. So that means that the values of m and n, which are the roots, would be -18 and 3. And since 3 is the greater one, that would be our answer. So good job, Sonab. And also, this was really neat. So that, like, good job on that. Okay.
Okay, so question 3 is for how many positive integers n is n squared minus 3n plus 2 a prime number? Okay, so yeah, so I'll give you all a minute to solve. And yeah. And remember, it says positive integers. And remember, positive is anything that can be expressed with plus. So that does not include 0. Plus 0 is 0. You know, it's
0 is not a positive
yeah.
number. Zero.
And also in the explanation that is on this, it says n plus 1 times n plus 2. Remember that n plus 1 times n plus 2 does not multiply to n squared minus 3n plus 2.
That would actually multiply to n squared plus 3n plus 2, not n squared minus 3n plus 2. So you were kind of close, but yeah,
not quite.
Those negative signs.
So close yet so far. Okay, but also okay, whenever you factor something, just look at it again and see if it makes sense, because you will be able to catch like 9 out of 10 of your mistakes if you do that and you're like, hey, this doesn't multiply to this, right? Because your answer is like from that factoring thingy could make sense, but if your factoring is wrong, then your whole answer will be wrong most of the time. So,
Okay. You can go right now, I think.
okay, I don't think many people have solved this,
Oh.
but yeah. Okay, well, I'll just solve it. Okay, so we want to factor n squared minus 3n plus 2. So that would factor to n minus m, or well, let's say n minus a times n minus b, right? Okay, wait, n minus a times n minus b, right? So a times b is going to be equal to 2. So yeah, we have that. And then we have negative a minus b is equal to negative 3. So a plus b is equal to 3, right? So we want to see what values add to 3 and multiply to 2. That's just 2 and 1, right? So we have n minus 2 times n minus 1, right? As equal to this, right? So we want to see for how many of these is this value a prime number. So in order for a number to be prime, it has to be a multiple of 1 and itself, right? So we can see what value we can get one of these monomials that's multiplied together to be equal 1, right? So we can see n minus 3, or n is equal to 3, right? So we'd have 3 minus 2, which is 1, times 3 minus 1, which is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So that means that it's prime when n is equal to 3. And we can see, we can also set n equal to 2 to get n minus 1 equals 1. And we get n minus 2 would be equal to 0. So 0 times 1 is 0. And 0 is not a prime number, because it technically is a factor of 0 and any other number. Like, you know, it's only, it's just not, okay? So n minus 2 doesn't work. And everything else will not work because it'll be a multiple of two numbers that aren't 1, meaning it will be a multiple of something other than 1 and the number itself. So that means that we only have one value, which is n is equal to 3. So for how many positive integers of n, it's just 1. So yes. Good job.
Oh,
What?
yay.
Yeah.
Someone solved number 4. Okay, this one. So what is the smallest possible value of x such that 2x squared plus 24x minus 60 equals x times x plus 13? So x times x plus 13, we can use the distributive property and expand that. So that becomes x squared plus 13x, and we can set that equal to this side. And if we subtract that from both sides, then we will get x squared plus 11x minus 60 equals 0. And so then, again, we can use m and n. I guess we can use x plus m times x plus n. So m times n would equal negative 60, and m plus n would equal 11. So again, if you like list some factors of 60 out, you'll eventually find that 4 and 15, 4 and negative 15 specifically, they multiply to negative 60 and they add to 11. So that would mean that the factored form would be x minus 4 times x plus 15, which means that the roots are 4 and negative 15. So based on that, the smallest possible value would be x equals negative 15, which is correct. So yeah, good job. Okay, do you want to go to the Kahoot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just realized the time.
Yep, we have a whole section on the quadratic formula.
Right. Basically what you need to know,
We can go over
is
that
just-
next class, but yeah.
I'll just say what the quadratic formula is, right?
Okay, we can just take one quick look at
yeah.
it.
So we'd use the quadratic formula, which is negative b times plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac over 2a, right? So we're given the coefficients, so a, b, and c, when we're given it in the standard form, so ax squared plus bx plus c. You might want to write down the quadratic formula, right? We will explain it next class, we'll show how to use it and stuff, right? In case you're still not still confused. In this case, just it won't be on the homework, right? The homework will just be factored.
Yeah. Basically, all it does is it solves for the roots in
Yeah.
a very hard way. No one likes using the quadratic formula, but it's like this is your last resort if nothing else works, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, the homework would have. Okay. The homework was going to originally be over everything that would have been covered, so I'll have to change it. But it'll be a quizzes. So.
Oh, there's a snowman.
Yeah.
Oh, you can even QR code. What the heck?
Well.
What?
Okay. Shawnee, did you make this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I kind of borrowed it from the internet.
Oh, maybe you should have. Okay. You guys can't hear it, can you?
No.
Okay, well. It's a rap about the quadratic formula and how to factor.
Thank God.
You guys are lucky that you can't hear it.
Wait, share the sound.
Okay.
Like,
Let me stop share. This is.
I want to hear something cursed today, so.
Okay, if I share screen, optimize for video quick, and share sound.
Please, no.
Can you hear it?
Slightly.
Barely, and I already don't like it. Please stop. It starts your please.
No.
Okay.
No. Someone actually decided to make the rap. Like that rap. That is, I'm sorry.
It's bad for the poor kids that teacher forced to do this.
Honestly, those teachers, or it's probably teachers who made it, right? They're like, this is the only thing that will brighten up my year, Something like middle school teachers, they probably decided to embarrass some kids and make it,
If anyone else needs to join, you better put that in the chat.
Now.
Yeah, do it now. You have 5 seconds.
Okay, just start it now. Because
okay,
no, just start.
Kahoot by Kahoot. Okay. Hey Shawnee, you should really check the cahoots before.
Yeah.
Oh dang, I muted it, so now I can't hear the actual music.
Oh.
What the heck is that?
Not exactly sure.
It's
It's
a
a
cat.
raccoon. Oh, it's a raccoon.
Oh yeah, Amy, your screen is showing gray boxes on it.
Oh,
Make
crud.
sure that you're sharing not your entire screen, just share the tab.
Yeah, I am just sharing the tab.
Well then, share the window.
Let's see.
Oh no. Make sure it's not optimized for video.
Well,
If
guess what I did? Because I wanted you guys to listen to the sounds.
Well, you can share again and then make it so it's not. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Once this question ends. Okay. I will go. Okay, let me stop sharing and reshare. I'll just optimize for sound, but not for video.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the top left is incorrect because it's not fully factored, because 8x plus 2 can be factored into 4x plus 1 and then times 2, right? So you should have chosen 4x times 4x plus 1, because 4x times 4 plus 1 is just 20x, and 2 times the 8x plus 2 is 16x plus 4, and wait, what can't you see? Okay, yeah, well, it's not the...
Wait, can you see it now?
I can see it. I don't know why.
Oh, dang. Let me move my mouse around. Can you see it now?
Okay, wait, try, if you're using the
can
app,
see
try
that.
joining. Okay. If it's not working for you, you can rejoin the meeting. You know, yeah. Okay. But the top right is wrong because it would be 4 instead of 4x. So basically, the top left is wrong because it's not fully factored, but it's the bottom right because, yeah, it's fully factored. Anyways.
What? What? I'm confused. Oh, I said
Oh.
dang. I say dang all the time.
Even if it's not a bad word if you're talking about the actual place.
Sure.
Oh goodness, it's a dog.
Oh God, I can only
Really?
see the nose, the eye.
Mr.
What is
Mark
this?
tried to explain that to us like 5 times a day.
Wait, can other people see?
I can see just fine.
Oh. Oh. It might be your internet connection then.
Yeah.
What is this dog?
It looks like a half llama, half dog, or half llama, half dog, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it
Yeah,
was
you
okay. It's the top right because if you factor out 4x, you get 4x multiplied by 6x plus 1, and you can't factor 6x plus 1 anymore. So yeah, you get blue. So yeah.
okay, factor 6x plus 12. Oh my goodness. Those pictures. Sanvi, you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Wait, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. This is one unique looking owl.
Wait. Wait a
Okay.
second. Who
What?
skipped? Wait a second. Wait a second.
What?
Wait. Why did it skip it?
It didn't. Everyone answered.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I saw 43 seconds and then it just skipped. Okay.
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
1,000 points? Wow.
That's unique.
That's
Yeah.
only possible by guessing or
Yeah.
I think
just
it's
like
probably a
that.
setting or something.
yeah. That's
no,
what I
it's
guess.
like that would mean you clicked immediately after the question was asked. So
Exactly, yeah.
And you can't
I
see
guess
the
you're
screen.
just like superhuman.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you factor out 6 from 6x plus 12, you get 6 times x plus 2. And factoring any less would mean that you aren't factoring completely, like factoring any value less than 6, and you can't factor x plus 2, so it should be the top left. So yeah.
Factor 16x squared plus 8.
I was this close to misclicking on the wrong one. It's a door.
It's a dog in a door. That's a very special door. Okay, so you would want to factor 8x because that's the greatest common factor of 16x squared and 8x. And when you factor it out, you get 8x times 2x plus 1. You can't factor 2x plus 1 so that all coefficients are integers. So yeah, you get 8x times 2x plus 1.
Wait, Sana, were you able to see the screen that time?
I can't see the screen at all. I can't.
Well then, maybe your guessing skills are just, incredible.
Okay, factor this big thing.
What is the music in the background?
This is very painful to listen to.
Yeah.
Babu.
This monkey is me smiling for picture day. Like, honest.
Oh no.
Okay. So the easiest way to do these is to see what the greatest common factor of 20x to the power 4 and 15x cubed and 10x squared would be. So you can see x squared would factor into all of them, and 5 factors into the coefficients. So everything is divisible by 5x squared. And since the only value with 5x squared as like factored out is the blue one, you should have just clicked on that. But if you actually factored out 5x squared from everything, you would have gotten 4x squared plus 3x plus 2, and that can't be factored. So, yeah.
Oh no. Sana. Factor this thing.
Have you all finished your Halloween candy? Yeah. I have like oof, Charles. I have like 2 Jolly Ranchers that I'm never gonna eat because they look gross,
So that means you can boast that you never finish your Halloween candy. So you're
Right, exactly. I'm just that, like, I have that much self-control,
I have
Oh,
a
wow.
bit left, but like I don't want to eat it all at once.
Oh, yeah. I had a lot of candy and I couldn't eat like 2/3 of it, so it was fun. So yeah. Okay, so factor this. So you know that if it's x minus m, or okay, let's just say it's a x plus a and x plus b, then a times b would be equal to 7, and a plus b would be equal to 8. So what values multiply to 7 and add to 8? 1 and 7. So you would have gotten the blue. So yeah.
Yay. Sana was climbing again. Okay, factor x squared plus x minus 90. Oh wow, a giraffe.
Oh wait, no, I got it right. I got it. I thought the wrong thing, but I still got it right.
How many people are in this Kahoot?
Probably around like 8. At least 8.
Big
Probably.
hint, it's not any of the right 2. Don't make that mistake.
Oh yeah, the right. Oh my god.
Yeah, they're the same answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone realized that it wasn't blue or something, and then they clicked.
How am I doing this?
Did you get
I'm
it right
doing
again?
No math. I'm doing no math.
That means you're just a
Well,
good guesser.
Right, exactly.
Or
Like,
or you're a bot and you're just,
or you created this Kahoot and made that really bad rap, and you just
Yeah.
know.
Just
Maybe.
tortured us and just muted as soon as they unmuted. Oh, said whatever.
Okay. Oh yeah, technically she did show you guys the name of the Kahoot. Okay. Well, anyways, I don't think you all even remember the name. But anyways, it's so you would see that 9 and 10 are the things that would multiply to negative 90 and have a difference of 1, right? So plus minus 9 or plus minus 10. And if you had negative 10, then the coefficient of x would not be positive. So it would have to be negative 9 and positive 10. So it would have been the yellow.
Sana, what the heck? Are you sure that you're
Are
not
you
solving
sure?
anything?
I think he is. I think he's just lying to us. Next time, if he gets 980 plus, then I'd believe it.
It also could be just like people like choose their Kahoot answers in a certain way. So you can like
Yeah.
optimize which one you choose. So,
Watch
like,
it be the way that like they're going counterclockwise or something. Like to wouldn't be surprised. Or just skipping the green altogether.
What place am I? Honestly, I want to know.
You're third. You're second.
What?
You can tell how not surprised he is, so he's obviously lying about guessing.
Maybe he created this. You never know. He could have been like, he just
Wait, if I
decided that.
created, then I'd be less surprised than I am right now.
I mean,
maybe you're
that'd be
faking
hard.
it.
Exactly,
Right.
because you don't sound surprised.
You. How? How? How?
That's obviously fake. Wait, I want to see how much you got. If you got like a 980 plus, then I believe him.
Wait, honestly, this is. I think I know why. I named myself Sana, but cool.
But obviously Kahoot now loves you because, you added cool to your name. Okay.
How much did he get?
You
He's
got
second.
1,000 perfectly.
What? Okay,
Wow.
well then you're okay.
Could
I
be
don't know
lucky,
how
you
that's
might-
happening.
Honestly, you should try unofficially taking the math counts test.
Yeah.
Just get
Yeah, you could take those tests and just guess on everything and get like a 40.
right. Just see how much
This
you
is only
get.
this time. This is only this time.
Maybe you should take the math counts test now then, just get it leaked to you. And take
If I'm
it.
really that lucky, then this one I'm gonna fail.
Right, math counts is in multiple choice, but just feel the answers. Be like, it seems like it would have a 3 in it. I think a 2 comes after.
Technically, it is multiple choice if you think about it this way. You need to think about how many digits are in the number, right? So that's one choice. Then you need to look at each of those digits and decide if it's a digit 0 through 9, and that's multiple choice. So you do that for every question, and you've turned math counts into a multiple choice test.
It's multiple choice if you think about the fact that every single answer is a choice. So then that's multiple choices. So technically multiple choice.
Finally!
Oh, yeah, so I would.
On the one
He's
where
still on the
everyone's got
podium.
a
I'm
correct
still on
apart
the podium though.
He's
It's
still on the
usually-
podium.
It's just the one that everyone got it correct apart from him.
I'm gonna get this one too. I have to. Incorrect. I'm
What
just gonna
do
go
you-
down, honestly. I deserve it. I do not deserve to stay at the top by guessing.
I mean, as long
Yes,
as it
finally.
works.
Okay, at least I'm not top 3. That's good.
Why do you not want to be top 3? That's
I do not, because I do not deserve this. If I was trying, then yes.
If you get that high of a score, say I would say 10 out of 15 questions, if you get them all right, you might make a leaderboard. Then I think you deserve it.
yeah, exactly. Your guessing is your phone is doing it for you. Your phone is making you proud.
I
What?
think I know the
I'm not
pattern.
even on my phone.
Oh well, your computer then.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait a second. This is a coefficient one. Shoot, I
Oh.
should have skipped it. Dang it.
Everybody choose the wrong answer. You know. Wait, you know. I'm pretty sure
Wait,
it's
what?
green. It's green.
That
Everybody
picture
just
is creepy.
I'm 75% sure I got it wrong because I guessed. So
Okay, everyone guess.
Haha, totally relate to me. Haha.
I'm gonna skip because I'm
Guessing.
pretty sure Charles left, so. Oh my goodness. Who got that right?
whoever actually listened to my advice. I did not click on green.
Jay? Oh my gosh. Wow. The first part. Just like.
Okay, this is also
Okay.
Kahoot's just motivating me. I'm like, okay.
Oh my
just saying,
goodness.
we're like 6 minutes past the time.
Yep. Well, that's why we're skipping everything.
wait. You can
Oh,
end.
gosh.
You can end the Kahoot.
No. Oh wait. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
good.
Okay. No, I want to wait. Hold on. It's okay.
Wow.
Okay. You guys. Do you guys know how to do this?
I mean, 6 people answered, so presumably. Hint: the answer is red.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. Okay. Let's look at the podium. Okay. In
Oh,
third
I'm
place.
top 5. I'm
We have
top
E
5.
number 2. Who's E number 2? In second place, we have Advika. And in first place, we have the rap person.
We're such a-
Who is E number 2?
I am E number 2.
Wait, who
Bro, I'm
said
gonna
that?
tell my parents how I didn't know math
Me,
during
I
the
said it.
Kahoot and got
listen,
top 5.
Wait, say your name.
My
think
name is Duraj.
Okay,
I mean,
Wait, what are you doing here?
chances,
wait a second.
the chances
Wait, what
of
is
winning
Diraj
if you
doing
guessed every single one of them would be,
Wait a second.
I'm just even getting top 3 would be.
Yeah. Dear
Oh,
Raj, I
Yeah,
think.
he is.
Well,
I'm confused.
well.
Okay, wait. Who got
What would
5th?
be the chances?
Who got 5th?
Me, Lazana.
On it? Okay.
Wait,
Honestly, give him like double the points for guessing
Wait,
throughout all.
wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Basically, Duraj is not even supposed to be in this class, right?
I think, yeah.
So does that mean that I'm technically 3rd place?
Technically,
Yeah.
you're second place. But yeah.
What?
How are you second?
Because
I don't know.
guys,
Maybe because the first
To all those
person.
people that actually tried and got lower than 5th place,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
probably I'm going to give the top 5 people who are actually legitimately in our class, like
Yeah,
you know, the
what about
credit
me?
because
What about me? What about me?
I'll give you like, I don't know, hey Shawnee, what should I do about Sanav? Should I give him like
Honestly,
half a
Please,
point?
my
for-
efforts on guessing. You know,
No.
it's actually guessing comes from a formula, math formula. It's actually not.
yes, he
random.
has to use the
What if he
probability.
wait, what
to
if he
figure it
There's an
out.
actual form. There's no. It's all not also probability, but there's actually a formula that computers use to make like random things. So basically,
Yeah.
I'm doing math.
Wait,
He's
what if
becoming
you-
a computer. He's a bot.
Wait, Sanav,
we-
did you just admit to being a bot?
Well, I mean, bot is another way. Is a rude way to say advanced mathematician.
I mean, no, this depends.
Mathematicians are not bots.
No, but it depends.
Bruh.
Like in bot,